In the repair shop today, Will has his work cut out with an antique table.
There are some jobs that you think is a really good idea, and then halfway through you just think...
Why did I start?
Oh, my gosh.
While Julie and Amanda attempt to breathe new life into a precious 50-year-old cuddly toy.
We've been waiting for this for a long time.
But first, the repair shop is taking delivery of a real collector's item, belonging to Betty Raymond and her son, Michael.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Steve. Hi. Hello. I know you can't shake my hand. Pop it on the table here, whatever it is. What have we got here?
OK, this is an antique steam gunboat that my parents found some years ago.
Oh, my word. This is something special. This is fantastic. After the rudder. That's good. Oh, we've got a cannon and another cannon.
I found it on the beach at Goring by Sea in 1952.
Right.
There was just that part protruding from the sand. So my husband said, don't touch it, and I'll go bang. But I stayed with it, and I eventually, that was what came out from the sand. It was absolutely buried.
I think the thing that really I find quite amusing about this story is my father standing back and saying to my mother, you dig it up, I'll stand back here safely.
And I suppose you didn't know where it come from?
No idea. How it came to be buried in the sea at Goring, I don't know. That's another story which we shall never know.
Have you researched the history?
We tried. My husband wrote to the address that's on the stern of the boat, but we never got a reply. So we just assumed that during the war years it could have been lost. We just didn't know.
And have you ever had it working?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
And have you sailed it?
Yes. In the boating lake in Poole Park.
Oh, right.
Michael was 2 at the time, and we took it down and had it going.
And does it go very fast?
It chugs its way around. It's not slow, but it moves.
My earliest memory is of it being in my father's study, just sitting there. I think although we had promises to go and run it, we never did in the end.
Would you like to see it running?
I'd love to see it running, yes.
Are you confident that it would float?
That's another matter.
After my husband died, I'd had it for a few years, and I passed it over to Michael to look after, and then take it to his son, and to keep it in the family.
Yes.
Because it's such an unusual piece of history.
Absolutely. So I'm going to really enjoy this project. And when you come back and have a look at it, I hope that it's going to be running and working and looking great.
Wonderful. That'll be great.
OK, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Built by French toy makers Radiguet and Mathieu, this steam-powered battleship is at least 125 years old. But the years of being buried under a Sussex beach have clearly taken their toll. The first thing Steve needs to do is strip off all the components and find out if the boat is seaworthy.
Steve, I heard you need a bucket.
I did.
Full of water?
I do, yeah.
Why?
I'll just fill it with water to see if it's watertight. And basically what I need you to do is just put your finger over that hole there.
OK.
You got your finger in the right...
I've got it in the... It's down. Look, I'm going to show you.
That's the right one, yeah.
Right.
OK.
Fill her up.
Right, yeah.
So what we're looking for, we don't want to see water coming out, do we?
No, that'd be bad news.
I don't think it's coming out, is it?
Right, I think that's enough. How's that looking?
That's all right, actually. There's no water in the bucket, is there?
Lift that up. You can't see anything seeping.
Nothing.
That's absolutely brilliant. Good. If you can stay there for about half an hour and just...
The repair shop takes in all manner of artifacts steeped in family history, but not many of them span 4 generations. Mark and Carol Bentley have brought along a much-loved 200-year-old heirloom, which they hope the team can restore to its former glory.
Will, we've got a table.
Lovely table.
Thank you.
Looks like it's standing up on all three legs, so...
Just about. If we leave it too much longer, I think we'll have pieces rather than a complete table.
I see. Where did you get it from?
It came from my mother, before her grandmother, and before her, my great-great-grandmother.
It was 20 years ago that Mark's mother died, so this is her anniversary year, which we thought would be ideal to get that done for as well. Then it will go to our niece or her children, so it'll carry on through
the
another
family.
side of the family.
You're just building up the pressure for me to do an amazing job. I'm just thinking. So this looks like a triangular top, but I presume these...
Yeah, these come up.
Looks like rosewood to me. The thing with rosewood is it's quite a dark wood, but as time goes on, it really lightens and it sort of goes to this really nice blonde colour, which looks lovely, but if you have to sort of patch a piece or sand a piece, it goes straight back down to that dark wood again. So it's really tricky to then patch certain areas.
Oh.
Really tricky. And it looks like we're missing a massive patch of veneer from the inside.
That's the most serious problem.
Plant pot?
Very likely.
Lovely. Well, if you leave that with us, we will let you know when it's ready to be picked up.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Will.
Cheers, thanks.
Thank you.
To get a clear view of the beautiful veneered top, Will first deep cleans the table, which reveals a challenging issue.
You can actually see where everything is quite light, but there are areas where it's quite dark, and the only way to make that light again is to bleach it out. So bleaching isn't really my favourite task. It's something I'd use sort of as a last resort.
He may not be a fan of bleaching, but in this case, Will decides it's his best bet.
So right now I'm putting on the first bleach. What that does is it sinks into the wood and actually makes it look a lot darker. And once that's dried in about 20 minutes, half an hour, then you put on bleach B, and then that turns it lighter.
A few hours later, and the gamble has paid off.
So I'm really pleased with this. I used the bleach has worked. I know that this looks really bleached out and a lot lighter than the table for now. However, once I neutralise this with a bit of water and white vinegar, you'll see it's not actually too far off, is it? That looks pretty good. I've actually surprised myself in a way. So what I'll do now is neutralise the rest of the veneer, and then I can work out what parts I'm going to use for the table.
But with a 200-year-old wooden piece like this, even a seemingly straightforward job has hidden problems.
Kirsten?
Yeah.
Do you mind having a look at something for me?
Yeah, sure thing.
Thanks. I'm not sure what to do. I was originally going to just patch this damaged area here.
Yeah.
But looking at the outside panels and the rest of the veneer here, that looks really clear, that looks lovely.
It's really lovely, yeah.
Whereas this all looks quite mottled and grey.
I can see something there as well. Yeah.
It is pretty bad, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, it's really unsightly, and I just think that I sort of owe it to the family to have this table looking, you know, the best that it can be.
So, what are the options then?
Instead of patching it there,
Yeah.
I am considering on patching it there. So taking it right up to that line of inlay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty drastic.
Stay with me.
Seems like quite a big job to me. I don't know.
There are some jobs that you think is a really good idea, and then halfway through you just think,
Why did I start?
oh my gosh.
The possessions we treasure most are often those that represent a connection to loved ones. Next to arrive at the repair shop is Jill Padmore, with an adored childhood friend in need of some serious TLC from soft toy restorers Julie and Amanda.
This is Panda. I had Panda when I was 1. My father bought me Panda. As you can see, he's been well loved and well cherished over the years. In a sorry state at the moment.
Oh, he's lovely. Isn't he sweet?
Sadly, my father died when I was 9, and
So he's very precious to you for that reason.
yeah, he's very precious because after Dad died, I found it really hard to talk to anyone about him. He was extremely patient. I was a sort of child who liked to do his hair, have a comb over, I remember, and I used to, and one side was really long, so I used to plait it, and he was so patient. Life sort of went from colour to black and white when he died, so didn't really come to terms with my father's death for probably about 20 years.
Wow.
But Panda, throughout that time when I couldn't talk about him, he was always there. We didn't have to have a conversation. He was there. He was my connection. I knew that my father, who loved me, had bought me the Panda, and meant that we had sort of this unspoken bond, and that he could be my go-to bear.
Absolutely. So he knows everything.
He knows everything, and he's a lot of tears shed on him. He's a very special Panda. Deserves to be looking beautiful again.
I've noticed he's still got his little label on his side here, made in England.
So he's a good
English
British
bear.
panda, which is lovely. Yes. You may notice the worst of the damage is actually in the black fabric. We've seen this quite a bit, and we believe it's the dyeing process.
Oh, really?
Weakens the fabric, but the white always seems to say a little bit
That's interesting.
longer.
Wow. He's lost his tongue.
Yes, so you have a little red tongue.
He had a little red tongue, yeah. We had tea parties, you see, so I think obviously during a tea party he must have lost his tongue.
Enough that he can sit up, possibly?
Yeah, well, he never did sit up by himself.
Oh,
He always had to be
okay.
propped up. He got dressed up a lot as well, which is probably why his arms are coming off. So he's naked at the moment. It's not usual for Panda.
A bear bear.
It's one of the few things I've kept from childhood, and I just want to be able to, cuddle and love him again, and
Absolutely, we understand.
and pass him on to my son as well.
You need him strengthened, really,
Strengthened,
and everything, don't you?
Yeah, and some patchwork going on here.
Also, just want to reassure you that we won't change his look or his character. He will still be the Panda that you remember.
Do you want to give him a hug?
I do.
I thought you did.
Oh,
We'll look after him.
He'll be fine.
Don't worry, we will look after him.
thank you.
Come on, Panda. You're with us now for a little while. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No,
Thank
you're more than welcome.
It's sad to see a bear that has fallen into so much disrepair, just through love, really. I feel as though I'm sort of honouring Dad's memory, really, and being able to pass him on to my own son is, is very special.
Wow. A very special
He
Panda.
is a very special
Come on,
Panda.
buddy.
Well, where are we going to start?
Cleaning-wise, that I wouldn't want to attempt to clean him unless we separate black from white.
Just in case. We don't want the colour bleeding into him.
No, absolutely not.
And then we can line it all and he'll be stronger.
Absolutely.
So come on, better get on with it then.
Definitely.
Back at his bench, Will has made a bold decision about the Rosewood Table.
So I finally decided to replace the entire triangular veneered section in the middle, and I think it will look a lot better replacing that whole piece of veneer rather than just sort of patching it on the inside. So I'm going to take a giant leap and remove the veneer on the inside. I have a funny feeling this is going to take me quite a while.
Veneer of this age can be especially stubborn to remove, but Will's got a trick up his sleeve. He's decided to gently steam each section of the veneer through a wet towel for about 30 seconds at a time.
Mate, this is going to be amazing. So the iron is melting and softening the glue underneath the veneer, and actually making it a lot easier, as you can see, to almost releases the veneer from the surface of the wood. But this is a risk of me damaging the surrounding area, which is what I don't want to do. So I end up having to replace the entire top, which I don't want to do. And you You can sort of just roll it up like that. Right, I am happy to see the back of that process.
Now, Will can begin to apply the rosewood veneers he bleached earlier. He needs to fit them seamlessly into the table's surface.
This is it. This is, everything else had been slightly stressful, but I think this is the point where, almost the point of no return. I will use my scalpel blade and carefully cut out the width that I need on the veneer to match up with the edges here. Measure 50 times and cut once. I'm prepared. I am prepared. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. It's really tricky because if I cut everything symmetrically, it definitely wouldn't fit. So I'm actually having to sort of partly use my imagination and partly kind of just go with the feel of the tabletop. What I'll do now is put some glue on the back and then clamp it down and make sure that clamp is super tight because I don't want any air pockets or pockets of loose glue. Sweet.
Meanwhile, Julie and Amanda are getting started on Jill's precious panda. The first step is to carefully unpick this distinguished old friend and remove all of his stuffing.
You can do it? Okay.
No going back, as they say.
Nope. I wonder what Jill would think if she could see this. Oh no.
It has to be done though, doesn't it?
I know.
That's the thing.
It's quite a painstaking process because we literally do it a stitch at a time.
Yeah, but it should suddenly just go. I always think it's lovely when you first do undo seams that you see the fur as it would have been, because that's the bit tucked inside. Yeah. Just that last little bit.
Nearly there.
Yay.
There we go.
Okay. So there he is.
2 pieces. Here we go. This is a quick, easy job. Well, there you go. I believe that all came out of him, would you? No.
There in it.
Good job.
Back to the unpicking then.
Yeah. I'll get these
There you
ears
go.
off. Thank you.
Steve is painstakingly reviving the 19th century toy battleship that was discovered on a beach 65 years ago.
So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just cleaning off the verdigris that fortunately is not deep into the brass. Sometimes if it's really severe, it digs into the brass. I've already cleaned up one cannon. That's what it looked like before. It's come up quite nice. I've got to repair the rudder on here. So that's got to fix on there. I've just seen on here, the back here, there's a little tube with a hole in it. Obviously that had a mast for a flag that came off there. Maybe a French flag or something. Feels quite sort of, doesn't feel smooth. So I think the whole thing might need stripping out and cleaning, because I think that should be smooth.
So you're getting on with the other bits then?
Yeah, good. So I've made a new mast for it.
Okay.
To match the other mast there.
What's all these bits? Is this the steam engine then? What's that?
Right, this is the actual main burner. So you put methylated spirits in there and you've got 3 flames coming up, which sits under here and heats up the tank.
Come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is the piston. So the steam drives this piston, which goes up and down like that, and actually turns this flywheel, which is attached to the propeller.
How cool is that?
Yeah, really good.
So have you worked on one of these before?
Never on a steamboat.
So how come you know all of that? That's how that works then?
I've worked on toy boats before. I've always messed around with toys and things like that as a lad.
Right.
And used to play with steam engines and things, so
yeah?
I know about them.
Oh, man.
So yeah, this piston is the really important piece. That was full of sand and grit. That piston wasn't going up and down like that. It was really gritty and not. But now I've cleaned it all out and it's as smooth as anything. So it's a matter of just putting everything back on now and firing it up.
As Jay oversees repairs across the workshop, he's keen to find out if Will's big gamble on the Rosewood Table veneer has paid off.
This is like Christmas. Come on.
You do that side, I do the same.
I'll let you do the last one, yeah? Ooh, that looks nice.
Look at that.
That is nice.
Oh, and it's flat.
Well, the thing for me is that is perfect. It's lined up. You've done good, man.
Well, it's close.
The only thing is, that goes in like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, roughly.
But then we're still going to have that bit missing in the middle.
I can patch that.
Can you?
If I can do that, I can patch that.
All right, I'll leave you to it then.
Yeah?
All right.
Before the precious toy Battleship is relaunched, Steve needs to be confident that its steam engine still works. After all, it's been out of action for almost 70 years.
So you're going to wait for it to get a pressure?
Yeah.
And then that steam should go through?
Yeah, I've got Dom's welding mask here, so once it gets to a certain sort of heat, I'm going to put on... actually, I'm going to do it now.
Yes, please.
Right.
So what's going to happen now? That steam there, this is travelling to there.
Yeah.
And it'll go down that pipe, right? And turn there.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Come on. You can see it's got some energy there.
What's stopping it, do you reckon, then, Steve? Or would that be inside there, or is it that mechanism? Which one do you think it is, Steve?
I'm not sure.
No? Because obviously it should go, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it's almost there. It's almost going. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen up the propeller end, because that might be causing too much friction.
Right. So it has to work harder.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to get this back inside, lube it up, and then it's all good to go.
Well, not lube it up, do some proper adjustments to it.
Proper adjustments then. Yeah. All right. Come on then.
Okay.
Over on Julie and Amanda's workbench, emergency surgery is being carried out on the threadbare 50-year-old Panda. They've separated each of its furry components.
We have now lined all the body and the arms and legs.
I will put some stuffing into this head. Julie will get his tummy panel into place and finish putting his paw pads in. That will go on there.
Tummy panel will go on here.
We see pandas right back from early bear making, I'd say as early as the 20s. This one came from the 1960s, and I would say around the 60s they became really popular because they started bringing them into the UK. So I think they had pandas at London Zoo, and of course all the children wanted a panda. So it's quite nice to see one that's survived the fact that he's been played with so much, that he's still in reasonable condition.
He is.
Now that I've got more stuffing behind them, there's a bit more substance to his muzzle, I'm going to be able to stitch his little nose into place, and his tongue will be going there. This is how he would have originally looked. So I'm really pleased with how that's looking, and he'll be ready to pop it back onto his body when Julie's finished. That's if she catches up.
It stops faffing.
And yeah, she's good at faffing. We took note when we dismantled him that the label was upside down and it has to be put back in the right place.
Which side was it? Whenever we've turned something inside out and we're having to re-put it back together again, there's always that moment where you think, have I got it round the right way?
We are making sure that it goes back exactly as it was so that she can, you know, it's how she remembers it, and that's important. Inside out and upside down, so the writing is going to be facing up towards his face, and it's going to go in here.
We've reached a tricky stage now of matching the black with the white. We have this area here around the edge of the fabric, which quite delightfully is as his fur would have been. However, if we don't match this properly, that's going to show, and it's just not going to look right if it shows.
White fluffy armpits are not a good look.
No, it won't be quite right. Once I have stitched all the way to the top here, that will be effectively the stitching complete. And then I'll be able to turn it through and check that I did actually get it lined up. It's kind of a bit exciting. Just doing the last couple of stitches here.
She's got her smug mode look on. She's definitely confident.
I'm a bit scared to look now you're making such a thing. Oh.
Look at that.
Look, look.
And the label's
Ta-da!
back
It's
in,
the
upside
right
down.
way.
Oh, well done.
Panda isn't the only repair shop project that's well on its way to being fixed. Will's made good headway on a much-loved 200-year-old Rosewood Table, handed down through 4 generations. But his work isn't done quite yet.
Whilst I was dismantling this tabletop, I realised that one of the panels sat prouder than the actual triangular surface. I thought that it was actually warped and curved, but instead I realised some of these hinges are actually bent. So I thought, why not take them off, get them into a clamp, and see if I can clamp them flat. Now it's almost perfect, that's pretty flat. So if I compare that to a hinge that I haven't actually flattened out yet, you can see the massive difference there. Hopefully they should all be just as easy to flatten out.
Once the hinges are back in place and the table reassembled, Will and Jay add some finishing touches.
A little nervous and anxious and very eager to see what the result's going to be on the table.
Mark and Carol's table had extensive water damage, and the joints and hinges were all in need of Will's expert attention.
Coming up here, we were talking about what Will might have done, so it's going to be really good to see what's coming out of it and what it's going to look like when it's finished. I'm quite excited about it. Hi, Will. Nice to see you again.
Okay, Will.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. This was a pleasure to work on.
Yep.
Slight bit of a nightmare at times. But would you like to have a look?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, look at that. Well, that's fabulous.
That's beautiful.
You have done a brilliant job, Will.
I just wish my mother was still around to see that. Well, my grandmother as well. Like me, they'd be lost for words. Just didn't believe it would be, well, look that good. But
Are you sure this is our table, Will?
But the inlay is just,
it really pops
it
out.
really
It
comes
has.
out there.
Really
It was so
comes
dark
out,
before.
Fabulous. I can't believe that.
So how does it feel to see it like this?
It's just, it's amazing. It's beautiful.
It was a pleasure to work on. It was a pleasure to work on. It was a pleasure to work on.
I really owe you for that. Thank you. Thank
If you're ever down our way, you're welcome for a coffee anytime.
Thank you. I might hold you to that.
I'm stunned by what Will's done with the table. I mean, when he took that blanket off and we looked at the inlay, Well, I got very emotional.
It's just brought it back to life. It's as though it's just come out of the showroom. It's amazing, really. And it just brings back so many memories, good memories of my mother and my grandmother. It's just really nice to see that connection again, but know it's saved for the future. The story doesn't finish here. It's 4 generations and counting. Yeah.
Clockwork expert Steve has been engaged in an epic struggle with a vintage toy battleship. He's painstakingly cleaned up all of the components. And although the boat's steam engine works, it's so far refused to actually turn the propeller.
So, it's going to work this time?
Do you know what? I'm confident this time.
So do you know why it didn't work?
Yeah, the whole hull was slightly bent.
Right.
Which meant that the actual propeller shaft wasn't quite in line and it was binding.
So what can I do then?
We need to fill up the that little vessel with the methylated spirits.
All right.
Maybe not all of it.
Not all of it?
I think that'll do.
Yeah? OK, over there.
Right. You ready?
I'm going to put my goggles on.
OK.
I do trust you. This looks promising.
There we go. So, got to wait for it to warm up now.
It's like waiting for the kettle to boil.
Well, it didn't take long last time, did it?
No, it didn't. OK. Oh. It's coming out. That's a good sign. Come on, man! Hey! Boy! Wow, that's fast, isn't it?
It is fast, yeah.
I don't need these now. Oh, blimey.
Feel the air.
Oh, wow. So in the water, that would just go like that, wouldn't it? It'd go like a rocket.
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, it might go really
It'd go too fast.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Now, that is amazing how it's working like that.
Yeah. I'm chuffed a bit.
You should be, man. Well done. That's a good job. But how do you stop it? There must be a way to stop it. Like... OK, cool. Can we test this out on the water?
Well, that's the second trial.
All right. Michael's going to be well chuffed with that.
Really?
No, well done.
The conditions on the local duck pond are perfect for a vintage Toy Steamboat's relaunching ceremony. Betty and Michael are returning to see how Steve has got on with the restoration of their much-loved family heirloom.
We're feeling really excited, aren't we? It's just really looking forward to seeing what the results are.
2 years old when we took it on the boat in Poole Park.
To see it running on water would be absolutely spectacular. I think that would really be the icing on the cake.
Hello, Betty.
Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Hey there, Michael.
Good to see you.
You all right?
Hey.
Hello. You all right?
I'm really excited to see this, I must say. I appreciate your work.
You're excited. Well, see, I don't know if you've been as excited as Steve. He was like a little boy in a sweet shop and a toy shop. I've never seen him this excited. So we're going to show them?
Yep, OK. So, there we go.
Wow. Look at that.
I haven't polished it all up. I didn't want it gleaming. This is just how I'd like it if it was mine.
Absolutely, no. I think that's absolutely the right decision.
Would have overdone it and taken away its antiquity.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely.
It's just amazing. It's brilliant. It's really brought it back to life.
Is this exactly how you remember it when you dug it out of the sea?
Yes.
Yeah?
Flag.
Apart from the flag?
Oh, yes. I popped a flag on for you, and I've made another mast for the...
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah,
oh,
no.
So what would your husband think of it now?
He would be absolutely thrilled to bits and beside himself.
Yeah.
To see it as it is now, he would have absolutely been out of his world. He would love to have seen it.
Well, I'm going to fire it up now. Once it's heated up, I'll launch it on the
Are you all going to launch it? You're not going to let Michael launch it?
I don't want you to fall in at all. So
you don't want to fall in? All right.
Take a last bit of pleasure away from you.
Yeah. Yes, it will, actually.
We've got the rest of the lads coming from the workshop now.
There we go. Right, I'm going to put it in the water now. Sure, Steve.
Yes. Brilliant. That's great.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I was just blown away. To see it just chug off from his hands, it really was amazing. It really was.
Look at them, they're like two little schoolboys, aren't they? Proper made up.
It took me back to the time when it was first put on the water, and I could see a husband and Michael sort of just enjoying seeing the boat go through the water. That was pleasure untold. Immediately go back to that time, remembering. And that's one of the most precious things there is, remembering.
Back in the workshop, the repair of the old Toy Panda is almost finished. There's just one thing missing.
So, Julie's done a lovely job on the body. So it's my job now to marry up head with the said body. This can be a little tricky at times. I have to be careful at this point that I get the head on straight. Vintage fabrics do stretch over a period of time. Now we've stabilised this by lining it, etc. But we still have to make sure that as we put it on, we're not going to get any, head to one side or, not fitting in properly. Otherwise, he's going to have a crick in his neck for forever. Pulling it in nice and tight. How are you doing? Look, just the last couple.
Oh, well done.
There he is, all ready for his bow.
Yeah, it's really good. I love doing this because
Get the bow on him.
it's our finishing touch, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the final test to see if he's done. The one thing Jill said was he never was able to sit up on his own. We know we've got it right if he falls over.
Right, okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Ready, steady.
Perfect.
Look at that.
With her son Edward, Jill is back at the repair shop, ready to be reunited with the precious bear that her late father gave her 50 years ago.
I've been looking forward to this day for so long. Panda just brings all the good memories back of a childhood with Dad. It does mean a lot to me. Can't wait for you to meet him properly.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
How are you feeling?
Nervous, excited.
So you must be Edward, who's going to eventually own Panda Bear?
Yes.
And can you remember what he looked like?
Bit messed up.
He had big holes all over him. He had a red tongue that was missing when I brought him in.
So if he had a red tongue and no holes, you'd be happy?
I'd be extremely happy. I would be over the moon.
Good. So are we ready? We've been waiting for this for a long time.
Go on then.
Ready? There you go.
Take him.
Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. He's perfect. He looks just like that.
Bless you.
Thank you so much.
You more than welcome. It's a pleasure. Of course, I'm going as well.
He looks better than I remembered. He looks better. Yes, and I remembered. Just feeling that plumpness of him, and he's looking at his snout and his shiny eyes. Look at that. You can still see all his age is still there. Look.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I quite like, because it's his second lease of life, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
I didn't want him to look like
No.
this is. We've all got our marks of time, haven't we? And this is Panda's.
Part of its history.
It's beautiful.
So now he looks like that. Does it take you back?
It does.
Just lovely that the connection you have with him and your father, it's just like that link that you're always going to have all the time you've got Panda.
It is, because you go through a process when you're grieving, and as I said, he feels like it's probably the last jigsaw in the healing process, you know, for all these years.
So we took special care as well with the label. Here it is. Because we noticed when you brought him in it was upside down, so we've replaced it upside down, exactly as it was.
I'm so grateful to you. Talented people.
It's an absolute pleasure. It really was. It was an honour to be able to do it for you, because he's so precious.
And thank you for trusting him with us.
And I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Oh,
For the perishable of dreams. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Come on, you. Come on. They've just given me a piece of my childhood back. Linked to my dad now that I've got for, hopefully, for the rest of my life, so.
It's the last piece of the jigsaw.
Yeah, last piece of the jigsaw. I knew they were the people to do it for me, and I'm so very grateful.